Over the next few weeks, Morgan and Kira spent much time together. The princess showed Morgan the wonders of Zelthonian society, their advanced healing technology that could cure almost any disease, their energy sources that drew power directly from stars without harming them, their art that changed and evolved as viewers observed it. Each discovery left Morgan more impressed with the alien civilization. The Science Academy was a massive structure that seemed to float above a lake of silver, liquid. The walls were transparent, allowing visitors to see researchers at work. Inside, Morgan met Zelthonian scientists who had been studying Earth from afar for decades. They know so much about us, Morgan thought with surprise as one researcher correctly identified her home state and even the university she had attended. We observe many developing worlds, Kira explained, sensing Morgan's thoughts. We believe knowledge should be shared, but we wait until species reach a certain technological level before making contact. Your people reached that point when you established your first Mars colony. Morgan found it both fascinating and slightly unsettling to know her world had been watched for so long. Do you observe all our communications? She asked. Only public broadcasts. Kira assured her, we respect privacy. Our goal is understanding, not control. The Earth delegation spent their days in negotiations with Zelthonian officials discussing trade technology, sharing, and cultural exchange. While these formal talks proceeded, Kira continued showing Morgan her world one day. They visited the ancient Temple of Knowledge, a library containing the history of not just Zelthos, but hundreds of other worlds. The building was carved from a single, crystal mountain with shelves that stretched impossibly high. How do you reach the books on the top shelves? Morgan asked, looking up at texts that seemed miles above them. We don't need to. Kira explained, touching one of the lower crystal books. Your minds can connect to any book once we know its location. The physical objects are just anchors for the knowledge. Morgan looked impressed. On Earth, we still read physical books or digital screens. We can't connect directly to information, Kira found this charming in a way. Your limitations make you creative. You find different paths to knowledge. Morgan taught Kira about human culture, music that Zelthonians found fascinating as they had no concept of rhythmic sounds. The variety of human foods, which amazed Kira as Zelthonians absorbed nutrients through their skin, rather than eating stories of human history with all its flaws and triumphs. Kira was particularly interested in human emotions. Zelthonians felt emotions deeply but expressed them differently. Their glowing spots revealed their feelings, making deception nearly impossible among their kind. You mean humans can hide their true feelings? Kira asked one evening as they sat watching the sunset. This seems so lonely. Sometimes, it's necessary, Morgan explained. We protect others or ourselves by not showing everything we feel. But yes, it can be lonely. The princess considered this, her spots glowing softly with sympathy. I would not want to live without knowing the hearts of those around me. Morgan smiled. You might be surprised how well humans can read each other even without glowing spots. We have other ways of showing feelings. Queen Thala observed this friendship with growing concern. Humans were known to be unpredictable, emotional, and short-lived compared to her people who lived for centuries. They were also resourceful and determined qualities the queen grudgingly admired. But she worried about her daughter's increasing attachment to the human ambassador. Kira, you are spending too much time with the Earth Woman, the queen said during their weekly meeting. Your duties to our people are being neglected. Kira stood tall, her spots glowing with determination. I am learning about a potential ally. Mother, their world has resources we need and we have knowledge they could use. My time with Morgan serves our kingdom, Queen. Thala was not convinced. There is more than diplomacy happening here. I see how your lights glow when you speak of her. Remember, you are promised to unite with Zenthor of the Northern Kingdom when the third moon completes its cycle. Kira had forgotten about her arranged union, a political match meant to strengthen ties between two powerful Zelthonian families. The thought now filled her with dread rather than duty. That evening, during a cultural exchange event, the Earth delegation presented music and dance from their world. Morgan wore a formal dress instead of her uniform and performed a traditional dance from her region. The flowing movements captivated the Zelthonians, who had never seen anything like it. When the performance ended, Kira approached Morgan. "Your movements tell stories," she said, her spots glowing brightly. "We have nothing like this on Zelthos." Morgan smiled and held out her hand. "Would you like to try?" Kira hesitated, then took the human's hand. Morgan guided her through simple steps, explaining how the dance represented the changing seasons on Earth. The princess was a quick learner, her natural grace making the movement seem effortless. The other Zelthonians watched in shock as their princess danced with the human. Such physical contact was rare in their society, especially for royalty. Queen Thala observed with narrowed eyes, seeing the growing connection between the two. The next day, Kira took Morgan to the crystal forests, where trees made of living crystal grew toward the sky. The light passing through them created patterns on the ground that predicted future weather. "This is the most beautiful place I've ever seen," Morgan said, touching one of the crystal trunks gently. "It is my favorite place on Zelthos." Kira admitted, "I come here when I need to think. It's peaceful." They walked in comfortable silence for a while. Then Morgan asked, "What happens when our delegation leaves in a few weeks? Will your people continue relations with Earth?" Kira had been avoiding thinking about Morgan's departure. The idea of the human leaving filled her with an unfamiliar ache. "Yes, of course. We will send representatives, but it won't be the same." Morgan looked at the princess, studying the way her spots dimmed slightly, showing her sadness. "I will miss you, Kira." The princess met Morgan's gaze, her eyes shifting to a deep blue. "I will miss you too. This has been the most interesting time of my long life." That night, Kira could not sleep. She paced her royal chambers, thinking about Morgan, about Earth, about the upcoming arranged union with Zenthor. The traditional path laid out for her no longer seemed right. Her spots glowed with conflicting emotions as she made a decision that would change everything. Meanwhile, Morgan sat in her quarters, writing her report to Earth Command. She described the advanced technology, the peaceful culture, the potential benefits of an alliance with Zelthos. But she found herself dwelling on descriptions of the princess. Her intelligence, her curiosity, her different way of seeing the universe. Morgan realized her feelings had grown beyond diplomatic friendship. The following morning, they met at the Science Academy as planned, but something had changed. Both seemed more reserved, more careful with their words. Kira showed Morgan the medical laboratories where Zelthonian healers demonstrated their abilities to cure diseases that plagued Earth. These would be part of the knowledge exchange if the treaties were signed. This could save millions of lives on Earth. Morgan said, watching as a healer repaired damaged cells with just a touch. "That is our hope," Kira replied. "The beginning of a lasting friendship between our worlds." Their hands brushed accidentally, and both felt a surge of connection. Neither pulled away immediately. When their eyes met, the unspoken feelings between them became harder to ignore. Queen Thala summoned Morgan that afternoon, a rare honor for a visiting diplomat. The queen floated above her throne, her expression unreadable as Morgan bowed before her. "Ambassador Morgan, my daughter speaks highly of you." The queen's voice echoed in Morgan's mind, "But I must know your intentions." Morgan stood straight, meeting the queen's gaze with respect. "My intention is to represent Earth faithfully and help build a relationship between our worlds that benefits both, and your personal intentions toward the princess," the queen pressed. "Her spots have revealed much to me." Morgan felt her face warm, not used to such directness. "Princess Kira is remarkable. I value her friendship greatly." "Friendship," the queen repeated. "The word contains many meanings on your world. Understand. Tell me, what would you do if she wished to visit Earth?" Morgan considered carefully. "She would be welcomed as an honored guest, Your Majesty. Her presence would strengthen our alliance." "Queen." Thala nodded, seeming satisfied. "You may go, Ambassador. Consider your words carefully in the days ahead." As Morgan left the throne room, she wondered what the queen had really been asking, and what her own honest answer would have been. Kira watched as the strange alien ship landed on the purple soil of her home world. She had never seen anything like it before. The metallic surface gleamed under the 3 suns of Zelthos, making her shield her eyes from the brightness. She was the princess of the Zelthonian Empire, the most powerful civilization in this galaxy. But this visitor made her curious and a little afraid. Kira had violet skin with small glowing spots that lit up when she felt strong emotions. Right now they were pulsing with excitement. Her long silvery hair floated around her head as if underwater even in normal gravity, a trait all Zelthonians shared. She stood taller than most humans, about 7 feet, with large almond-shaped eyes that shifted colors. With her mood currently, they were a bright gold color, showing her interest. The royal guards surrounded Kira, forming a protective circle. Their crystalline armor caught the light from the 3 suns, sending rainbow reflections across the landing area. Queen Thala, Kira's mother, stood back near the royal transport, her face showing no emotion as was proper for the ruler of Zelthos during first contact. The ship door opened with a soft hiss, and out stepped a human Kira had heard stories about. Humans, but had never seen one in person. This one was female, with brown hair tied back in a simple style. She wore a white uniform, with patches showing Earth symbols. Her name tag read, Morgan. She was shorter than any adult Zelthonian, with round ears and small eyes. But something about her confidence made Kira stare. Morgan looked up at the alien landscape with awe. This was her first diplomatic mission to an alien world. She had trained for years to become an ambassador, but nothing prepared her for the beauty of Zelthos. The floating crystal cities and rainbow-colored forests took her breath away when she noticed the tall, violet-skinned woman with floating hair surrounded by guards. Morgan knew she must be someone important. Guards surrounded Morgan but kept their distance as instructed by Queen Thala. Zelthonians were known for their advanced technology and peaceful nature, but they remained cautious around new species, especially ones as unpredictable as humans. Princess Kira stepped forward, ignoring her mother's warning glance. She felt drawn to this strange creature, this human who looked so different, yet somehow familiar. "Welcome to Zelthos, human." Morgan. Kira spoke directly into Morgan's mind, a common form of communication. For her species, she hadn't meant to be so forward, but her excitement made it difficult to remember proper greeting protocols. Morgan jumped slightly, then composed herself. Her training had mentioned that some alien species use telepathy, but experiencing it was very different from reading about it. "Hello, Princess Kira. Thank you for allowing me to visit your world. I come with peaceful intentions from Earth." The formal delegation behind Morgan looked nervous. Their first contact training had not prepared them for the princess herself greeting them instead of lower officials. Morgan knew this was an honor but also a complication. Her mission brief had been clear: stick to protocol and avoid any cultural misunderstandings. Queen Thala floated forward, her feet never touching the ground, a sign of her royal status. Her voice echoed in the minds of all present. "We welcome the humans of Earth to Zelthos. My daughter, Princess Kira, will serve as your guide during your stay. Our people are curious about yours, as I believe yours are about us." Morgan bowed deeply, remembering her training on Zelthonian customs. "The honor is ours, Your Majesty. We bring greetings from Earth and hope this meeting will be the beginning of a lasting friendship between our worlds." The formal introductions continued as each member of the Earth delegation was presented to the royal court. Kira watched Morgan with growing interest. This human moved with grace despite being on an alien world. She showed proper respect without seeming fearful. Kira found herself wanting to know more about her. Later that day, Kira showed Morgan to the guest quarters in the floating crystal palace. The rooms had been specially modified to accommodate human needs, with furniture that didn't shift form and lighting adjusted to Earth standards. Morgan marveled at the view from her window. The city below seemed to be made entirely of light and crystal, with buildings that changed color as the 3 suns moved across the sky. "Is all of Zelthos this beautiful?" she asked. "Only the royal cities," Kira replied. "Our outer territories are more practical, but yes, beauty is important to my people. We believe our surroundings shape our thoughts." Morgan nodded. "That makes sense. On Earth, different cultures value different aesthetics, Some prefer simplicity, others elaboration. Kira found this fascinating. The idea that a single planet could contain such variety. Her people were more uniform in their tastes, a result of their shared telepathic nature. "Tell me more about Earth," she said, sitting on a chair that adjusted to her height. Morgan smiled and began describing her home world. The oceans and mountains, the deserts and forests, the cities and farms. Kira listened intently, her spots glowing with interest, as she learned about rain and snow concepts foreign to her desert world queen. Thala observed this interaction through the palace security system. Her advisors stood nearby, watching her reaction. "The human seems respectful," one said, "but the princess is showing too much interest." The queen sighed. Kira has always been curious about other worlds. It is both her strength and her weakness. Let us see what comes of this visit. The humans have technology we could use and resources we need. As night fell, on Zelthos its 3 moons rose. Casting multicolored light through the crystal buildings, Kira showed Morgan the royal gardens where plants from across the galaxy grew together, creating a living tapestry of color and scent. "This is amazing," Morgan said, touching a flower that changed color at her touch. "On Earth we have beautiful gardens, but nothing like this." Kira smiled, pleased by the humans' appreciation. "Our botanists have spent generations creating this space. It represents our belief in harmony and balance," Morgan nodded. "We have similar philosophies on Earth, though we don't always live up to them." A bond began to form between them that night, a small seedling of understanding that would grow into something neither could have predicted. As they walked through the garden, their shadows merged on the glowing path behind them. "Tomorrow I will show you our science academy," Kira said. "My people have made advances in medicine and energy that might interest your delegation." Morgan smiled. "That sounds wonderful. I look forward to learning more about your world." "Princess Kira, please just call me Kira," the princess found herself saying, surprising both of them. Such informality was not common among her people, especially royalty. But something about this human made her want to set aside protocol. Morgan nodded. "Then you must call me Morgan." And so began the friendship that would change 2 worlds forever, a princess and an ambassador finding common ground under alien stars. One night during the celebration of the first moon alignment, Kira and Morgan stood on a crystal balcony overlooking the capital city. The lights below mirrored the stars above, creating a view that seemed endless in both directions. The first of Zelthos' 3 moons had aligned perfectly with the largest sun, creating a ring of fire in the night sky. Morgan had never seen anything so beautiful. The celebration around them was in full swing. Zelthonians floating above the city streets there, bodies glowing with festive patterns. Music unlike anything on Earth filled the air, not sound exactly, but vibrations that could be felt rather than heard. Morgan explained that Earth had only 1 moon, and Kira found this strangely sad. How lonely. "Your planet must be," Kira thought to Morgan without realizing she was projecting her feelings along with her words. Her spots dimmed slightly at the thought. Morgan smiled, seeing the change in Kira's glow. "Not lonely, just different. Our 1 moon has inspired countless poems and stories throughout human history. Sometimes having just one of something makes it more special." Kira considered this. Her people valued abundance, multiple moons, multiple suns, multiple colors in everything. The human perspective intrigued her. "Perhaps there is wisdom in your way of seeing things," she admitted. They watched as dancers performed in the air below their balcony, Zelthonians who had mastered the art of controlled floating, creating patterns with their glowing bodies. "Earth, we dance on the ground," Morgan said. But the feeling might be similar. The joy of movement. The connection to music. Kira turned to Morgan, her eyes now a deep purple color, showing an emotion humans had no name for. "Would you show me a dance from your world?" Here now Morgan hesitated, aware that they were visible to many below, but something in Kira's expression made her nod. She took the princess' hand and guided her through a simple waltz. Their height difference made it awkward, but they adjusted quickly. The music below seemed to change, matching their movements, as if the Zelthonian musicians could sense what they needed. Morgan spun Kira gently, then drew her close again. Their faces were inches apart now. Something changed between them that night, a deeper understanding. A connection that transcended their biological differences. When Morgan's hand rested on Kira's waist, she could feel the princess's spots glowing warm against her palm. When Kira's eyes met Morgan's, she could see emotions that needed no translation. Queen Thala watched from a higher balcony, her advisors beside her. The princess dances with the human, one said with disapproval. This is unprecedented. The queen did not respond immediately. Her own spots were hidden beneath her formal robes, but they pulsed with conflicting feelings. She recognized what was happening but was unsure how to proceed. The ancient laws were clear. Royal blood must remain within their kind. But those laws were written before they knew other intelligent species existed. For the remaining weeks of the Earth delegation's visit, Kira and Morgan were inseparable. They attended diplomatic meetings together, explored the far reaches of the capital, and spent evenings discussing the differences and similarities between their worlds. Both knew their time together was limited, making each moment more precious. Word spread through the royal court about the princess and her human companion. Some approved, seeing it as a powerful symbol of the new alliance. Others worried about tradition and propriety. Zenthor, the northern prince who was promised to Kira, arrived early for their union ceremony and was not pleased to find his future mate so enchanted with an alien. Zenthor confronted Morgan one day in the Crystal Gardens, his tall, imposing figure blocking her path. Human, you dishonor our traditions by turning the princess from her duties. Morgan stood her ground, diplomat training taking over. I have nothing but respect for your traditions, Prince Zenthor. The princess makes her own choices. His spots glowed red with anger. She is promised to me. This has been arranged since before your species left their home planet. Morgan didn't back down. Princess Kira is an intelligent being capable of determining her own future. Surely your respect for her extends to respecting her decisions. Their confrontation was interrupted by Queen Thala herself. Prince Zenthor, you forget yourself, she said, her mental voice sharp. The human speaks truth. Kira must choose her own path, that is also our tradition. The prince bowed stiffly and departed, leaving Morgan alone with the queen. You defend my daughter well, human, the queen observed. Your species is younger than ours, but perhaps wiser in some ways. Morgan bowed. Thank you, your majesty. I only spoke what I believe. The queen studied Morgan for a long moment. Then know this, ambassador. My daughter's happiness matters more to me than ancient traditions, but her duty to our people cannot be ignored. Whatever comes of this must serve both. When the Earth delegation prepared to leave after 3 months of successful negotiations, Queen Thala noticed her daughter's distress. Kira had grown attached to the human ambassador in ways that went beyond diplomatic friendship. Her spots had been dim for days, and she attended her duties without her usual enthusiasm. Mother, I must go with them, Kira announced during the Royal Council meeting. I want to learn more about humans. They have so much to teach us, and we have much to teach them, Queen. Thala shook her head. No, you are the heir to the Zelthonian Empire. Your place is here. Our people need you. Our traditions demand it. But mother, they need me more, Kira argued. Their world faces challenges we solved centuries ago: climate instability, disease, resource depletion. With our knowledge, they could avoid many of the mistakes other species have made. And she paused, her spots glowing brightly, despite her attempt to control her emotions. I want to be with Morgan. The queen recognized the glow patterns on her daughter's skin, the unmistakable signs of deep emotional attachment. Something rarely seen among their kind, who typically formed connections based on intellectual compatibility rather than what humans would call love. The council chamber erupted in mental chatter. Some advisors strongly opposed the idea of their princess leaving. Others saw the diplomatic advantages of having royal representation on Earth. Prince Zenthor, who sat among the council members, projected his disapproval loudly. Queen Thala raised her hand, silencing the mental noise. She had ruled for 3 centuries and knew when change must be embraced rather than resisted. Daughter, You speak of what humans need, and what you want. But what does Zelthos need? The queen asked, her voice gentle but firm. Kira stood tall, her mind clear. Zelthos needs allies. Mother Earth has resources. We lack creativity. We could learn from strength we might someday need. Humans evolve, quickly. Their brief lives give them urgency. Our people have grown comfortable in our superiority. A true exchange would benefit us all. The Royal Council debated for days while Morgan and her team waited. Zelthonians lived by strict traditions but also valued evolution and growth. Finally, Queen Thala reached a compromise. Kira would go to Earth as the first permanent Zelthonian ambassador. She would represent her people and continue her royal education from afar. She would return home once. Each Earth year to maintain her connection with Zelthos, and Morgan would be officially recognized as her human counterpart, both on Earth and on Zelthos. When Kira told Morgan the news, both women were overjoyed. "I never thought your mother would agree," Morgan said as they packed Kira's belongings. "My mother is wiser than most realize," Kira replied, her spots glowing with happiness. "She sees the future, not just the past." Morgan hesitated. "What about Prince Zenthor and your arranged union?" Kira touched Morgan's hand, gently sending a wave of reassurance through the contact. "Some traditions must evolve. Zenthor will understand in time. His pride is wounded, but he never truly wanted this union either." The day of departure arrived. Earth scientists had modified their ship to accommodate Zelthonian physiology. Kira would need special lighting and atmospheric controls, but these were small challenges compared to what they had already overcome. Queen Thala stood at the boarding ramp saying farewell to her daughter. "Remember who you are, Kira." She projected privately. "My daughter, first princess, second ambassador." Third, Kira embraced her mother, feeling the queen's spots glow against her. "I will make you proud, mother." "I am already proud." The queen stepped back, allowing Morgan to approach. Morgan bowed deeply to the queen. "I promise to protect and support the princess on Earth." "Your Majesty." "See that you do, human queen." Thala replied, but her mental tone held warmth rather than warning. "Bring her home too." Visit often. As Kira boarded the Earth ship, she felt both loss and excitement. She was leaving her home, her mother, her position of comfortable privilege, but she was gaining something precious too. A new world, new experiences, and Morgan the human, who had changed everything. Morgan took her hand as the ship doors closed. Their eyes met, and no words, mental or spoken, were needed. The journey ahead would not be easy, but they would face it together. When problems arose, as they inevitably did, they faced them together. Earth politicians who wanted to exploit Zelthonian technology, Zelthonian traditionalists who thought Kira was betraying her heritage by adopting human customs, the biological challenges of two completely different species trying to build a life together. Their return to Zelthos was met with mixed reactions. Many welcomed their princess home, celebrating her successful mission on Earth. Others, particularly those close to Prince Zenthor, viewed her return with suspicion. The humans who accompanied Kira were treated politely, but distantly. Queen Thala embraced her daughter warmly, her spots glowing with maternal affection. "You look different, child," she observed. "Your light has new patterns." Kira smiled. "Earth has changed me, mother. In good ways, I think." The queen turned to Morgan, who bowed deeply. "Welcome back to Zelthos, Ambassador Morgan. You have taken good care of my daughter." "It has been my honor, Your Majesty," Morgan replied. Over the next few days, Kira reported to the Royal Council, detailing the treaties she had negotiated, the cultural exchanges she had established, and the scientific collaborations underway. Her presentation was met with approval, though some council members questioned whether humans could be trusted with advanced knowledge. Zelthonians value honesty above all else. Kira reminded them, "We can sense deception among our own kind. But I have learned that humans have their own forms of integrity. Many value truth as highly as we do." After the formal meetings, Kira showed Morgan more of her homeworld, places she had missed, places she had loved as a child. Morgan saw a different side of the princess here, more relaxed, more playful. They climbed Crystal mountains swam in silver lakes and watched all three moons rise together, creating a spectacle of light unlike anything on Earth. Prince Zenthor requested a private meeting with Kira before their departure. She agreed, though Morgan worried about his intentions. "I will be fine," Kira assured her he deserves to speak his mind. The meeting took place in the ancient Garden of Reflection. Morgan waited nearby, watching through the crystal walls as the two Zelthonians spoke, their spots shifting through emotional patterns she could not fully interpret. The conversation seemed intense but not hostile. When they finally emerged, Kira seemed peaceful. "What happened?" Morgan asked, when they were alone. "Zenthor has released me from our arrangement," she explained. "His pride was wounded, but he has found someone else, a scientist from the Southern Hemisphere. Their minds are more compatible than ours ever were." Morgan felt relief wash over her, though she tried not to show it. "That seems reasonable," she said carefully. Kira laughed, her spots flashing with amusement. "You cannot hide your feelings from me, Morgan. Your face reveals everything." Her expression grew serious. "He asked about us, about humans, about whether what I feel for you is real, and what did you tell him? That some things transcend species? That connection is rare and precious wherever it is found? That my feelings for you are as real as the three suns above us?" Morgan took her hand, squeezing gently. "And how did he respond to that?" Kira smiled. "He said he hopes to find a connection half as powerful." The night before they were to return to Earth, Queen Thala summoned them both to her private chambers, a rare honor even for a princess. The queen floated above her meditation pool, her royal robes flowing around her. "Kira, I have watched you these past days," the queen began. "Your connection to Earth, to humans, to Morgan specifically, has changed you. I must know, is this truly the path you wish to follow?" Kira stood tall, her spots glowing. "With certainty it is, Mother. I have found purpose there." And she glanced at Morgan, happiness. The queen nodded, then turned to Morgan. "Human, you have won my daughter's heart. This is no small thing. Zelthonians love rarely, but when we do, it is forever. What are your intentions?" Morgan stepped forward, meeting the queen's gaze. "I love your daughter, Your Majesty, with all that I am, where I come from. We have a tradition." She knelt before the queen and Kira. "I ask for your blessing to join our lives together, formally." The queen was silent for a long moment, studying Morgan with ancient eyes. Then her spots began to glow with a pattern Kira had never seen before. "Mother," Kira gasped, "you approve?" The queen smiled, a rare expression for her. "I approve, child, but there are challenges you must both understand. The physical differences, the lifespans. Morgan will age and die while you remain young. This is the nature of humans." Morgan stood again, taking Kira's hand. "We have discussed this. Your Majesty, Zelthonian, medical science may help extend my life, but even if it cannot, every moment with Kira is worth a lifetime without her queen." Thala floated down to stand before them. "I will give my blessing on one condition. Your children, if you choose to have them, through science or adoption, will spend equal time on both worlds, learning both cultures. They will be bridges between our peoples." Kira embraced her mother. "Thank you," she whispered, her spots glowing with joy. The queen turned to Morgan. "Welcome to our family, human. May your brief, bright life bring my daughter all the happiness she deserves." When they returned to Earth, they brought news of the formal alliance between worlds. Zelthonian medical technology would be shared gradually with Earth in exchange for resources and cultural knowledge. Kira was confirmed as permanent ambassador with expanded authority. Morgan was named Earth's official representative to Zelthos, and their union was announced to both worlds. Their wedding ceremony combined traditions from both cultures. They exchanged thought memories in the Zelthonian way and vows in the human way. They wore garments that represented both worlds. They celebrated under Earth's single moon, which now seemed special rather than lonely. To Kira, years passed. The alliance flourished. Zelthonian medical advances eliminated many human diseases. Their energy technology helped address Earth's climate crisis. Human creativity and art enriched Zelthonian culture, bringing new perspectives. To their ancient society, Kira and Morgan established a home that was neither fully Earth nor fully Zelthonian, but something new. A place where both species could meet as equals. A symbol of what was possible when differences were embraced rather than feared. They adopted children, 2 human orphans and 1 Zelthonian child whose parents had been lost in a rare space accident. The children grew up speaking both languages, understanding both cultures. They became the first of a new generation that saw no boundaries between worlds. There were difficulties, of course. Morgan's body aged while Kira's remained youthful. Cultural misunderstandings still occurred. Political opposition arose on both planets from those who feared change. But through it all, one thing remained constant: their determination to show that connection could transcend the boundaries of worlds. And when Queen Thala finally visited Earth years later, she saw what her daughter had accomplished. The medical advances that saved millions of human lives. The environmental restoration projects using Zelthonian methods. The cultural exchange programs that enriched both societies. Most importantly, she saw her daughter's glowing skin patterns brighter than she had ever seen them before. True happiness. The Queen stood with Morgan, now in her 50s, with silver in her hair, but still standing tall beside her alien wife. "Your short life burns so brightly, human," the Queen observed. "I begin to understand why my daughter chose you," Morgan smiled. "Your daughter taught me that differences can be strengths, Your Majesty. That what makes us alien to each other can also make us fascinating to each other." The Queen nodded, watching as her grandchildren played nearby, mixing human games with Zelthonian thought-sharing. Perhaps these children are the future, neither fully human nor fully Zelthonian, but something new. Something better. Perhaps these humans are not so different from us after all, the Queen thought as she watched Kira and Morgan walking hand in hand through a garden of earth flowers mixed with transplanted Zelthonian crystal blossoms. Perhaps this is exactly the future our galaxy needs. 20 years after their first meeting, Morgan stood on their balcony, watching Earth's sunset. Her body had aged, but Zelthonian treatments had extended her lifespan considerably. Kira joined her, wrapping her arms around her human from behind, her spots glowing with the same love they always had. "Do you ever regret it?" Morgan asked the question she rarely voiced. "The difference in our lifespans, the challenges we faced," Kira turned Morgan to face her. "Never, not for a moment. Every second with you has been worth centuries without you. My beautiful human. My heart." Their foreheads touched a gesture that had become theirs over the years. Part human, part Zelthonian, completely their own. "I wondered once if I would have to choose," Kira said softly, "between my duty and my heart. But you showed me there was no choice to make. They were the same path all along. And so began a new chapter in the history of both worlds. One where an alien princess and a human woman showed the universe that love and understanding could flourish even across the stars. Their story would be told for generations on both planets. A reminder that sometimes the greatest journeys take us not to distant worlds but to each other, in the end. It was not about being human or being Zelthonian. It was about being together. Finding home, not in a place but in a person. No matter how different, no matter the challenges, no matter the distance between their worlds, their connection had bridged the gap between stars. The journey to Earth took several weeks. During this time, Kira learned more about humans, their constant emotional states, their strange sleeping habits, their need for physical contact. All these things fascinated her. She observed the crew of the ER spacecraft, noting how they formed social bonds, how they expressed feelings through facial expressions instead of glowing spots, how they spent nearly a third of their lives unconscious. Morgan in turn learned about Zelthonian physiology, how they communicated through thought, how they could absorb information directly from written text by simply touching it, how they viewed time as fluid rather than linear. Most interesting to Morgan was learning that Zelthonians rarely slept, instead entering brief meditation states throughout the day. "Do you never dream?" Morgan asked one night as she prepared for sleep. Kira tilted her head, considering. "We experience something similar during our deep meditations. But we remain aware. We can choose which memories to explore, which futures to imagine. Your dreams sound more chaotic." More surprising. Morgan laughed. Sometimes terrifying too. But I would miss dreaming. I think it's where some of our best ideas come from. The ship captain Megan was initially wary of their alien passenger, but Kira quickly won her over by helping improve the ship's navigation systems using Zelthonian mathematical principles that shortened their journey by several days. By the time they approached Earth, Kira had formed connections with most of the crew. She had learned their card games, their jokes, even their music. Though Zelthonian hearing perceived it differently than humans did, they in turn had learned to recognize her emotional states from her glowing patterns, and to respect her brief meditation periods. When they reached Earth, Kira became a sensation. The first images of the violet-skinned princess with floating hair stepping off the spacecraft went viral instantly. Humans were amazed by her grace, intelligence, and the advanced technology she brought with her. Some feared her, some worshipped her, but Morgan stood by her side, helping her navigate human society. The gravity was stronger than Kira was used to, making her movements more deliberate. The air was thicker, filling her lungs differently. The single sun seemed strangely lonely in the sky, but the variety of life, the colors, the sounds, the constant movement all delighted her. They established the first Zelthonian embassy in a quiet area surrounded by nature. Kira found Earth both primitive and beautiful, noisy yet full of unexpected moments of peace. The embassy was designed to accommodate both species, with areas that mimicked Zelthonian conditions and others that showcased Earth environments. Government officials, scientific teams, and cultural attachés streamed through the embassy, all wanting to meet the alien princess. Kira handled the attention with grace, though Morgan could see her spots dimming when she grew tired. Each night, they would retreat to the garden where Kira could recharge in peace. The first real challenge came when a group of protesters gathered outside the embassy. Their signs claimed the aliens would take over Earth or corrupt human values. Security was increased, but Kira insisted on addressing them directly. Morgan tried to dissuade her. These people are afraid of what they don't understand. It's not safe. Kira remained calm, her spots glowing with determination. Fear grows in darkness. Morgan, I must show them who I truly am. With reluctance, Morgan arranged a meeting. Kira stood before the protest leaders, her spots glowing with calm reassurance. She answered their questions, patiently explaining Zelthonian customs and values, emphasizing that her people believed in non-interference and mutual respect. I have come to learn from you, not to change you, Kira told them. My people have made many mistakes in our long history. We hope Earth can learn from those mistakes, just as we hope to learn from your creativity and resilience. Not all were convinced, but many left with their fears eased. Media coverage of the event portrayed Kira as diplomatic and wise, increasing public support for the new alliance. As weeks became months, Kira adjusted to Earth life. She learned to wear human clothing, though it felt strange against her sensitive skin. She tried human foods, though she could only digest certain types. She practiced speaking aloud instead of telepathically, which humans found less disconcerting in public settings. Morgan taught her human customs from different cultures around the world, how to greet people in various countries, the meanings behind holidays, the complex social rules that governed human interaction. You have so many invisible boundaries, Kira observed. After a particularly confusing diplomatic function, some people you hug, others you bow to. Some you use titles with, others first names. How do you remember it all? Morgan laughed. We often don't. We make mistakes. But that's part of being human, learning. As we go, Kira found this perspective refreshing. On Zelthos, mistakes were rare due to their telepathic nature. Misunderstandings almost never happened. The human capacity to navigate constant uncertainty impressed her. 6 months after Kira's arrival, they faced their first serious crisis. A radical group opposed to alien presence on Earth attempted to sabotage the embassy's power systems. When they were caught, they claimed Zelthonians were controlling human minds and erasing memories. Morgan was furious at the accusations, but Kira remained calm. We must show them. Morgan, not tell them. I will submit to any test, any examination. They must see we have nothing to hide. Scientific teams conducted extensive tests confirming that Zelthonian telepathy could not control human minds or alter memories. It was purely communicative. Public demonstrations were arranged, allowing volunteers to experience Zelthonian thought-sharing, always with consent, always with respect. Trust grew slowly, but steadily, between Kira and humans, between Morgan and the wider Zelthonian delegation that had joined their princess on Earth, most importantly between the two civilizations. Over time, their relationship deepened in ways neither had anticipated. The alien princess and the human diplomat bridged the gap between two vastly different species. Morgan showed Kira how to dance properly, now that she had adjusted to Earth's gravity. Kira taught Morgan how to share memories through touch, a rare gift among her people. Their first kiss happened during a thunderstorm. Kira had never experienced such weather. The crashing sound, the electric feeling in the air, the sudden darkness followed by brilliant flashes of light. She stood by the window watching in awe as water poured from the sky. It's beautiful, Kira whispered, her spots glowing with excitement. Morgan stood beside her, smiling at her wonder. It's just rain, not on Zelthos. Our atmosphere is too stable, our weather too predictable. This is wild, unpredictable, alive. Lightning bolt struck nearby, illuminating Kira's face, her eyes wide with joy. In that moment, Morgan couldn't help herself. She leaned forward and pressed her lips gently to Kira's. The princess froze for a second, surprised by the gesture. Then her spots glowed, brighter than Morgan had ever seen them, almost blinding in their intensity. She returned the kiss hesitantly at first, then with growing confidence. When they separated, both were breathless, stunned by the power of their connection. Is this how humans always show affection? Kira asked, her voice soft. Morgan laughed. It's one way. Not always so intense, though. I like it. Kira decided, her spots still pulsing with light. Their personal relationship remained private, though many suspected the truth. Their professional partnership flourished. They established educational exchanges, scientific collaborations, and cultural programs that benefited both worlds. Kira addressed the United Nations, impressing world leaders with her wisdom and vision for cooperation. But challenges remained. Earth politics were more complicated than Zelthonian governance, with competing interests and hidden agendas. Some saw the alien technology as a potential weapon. Others worried about economic disruption if Zelthonian advances were introduced too quickly. Kira navigated these waters carefully with Morgan's guidance. They agreed to share medical technology, first focusing on curing diseases rather than weapons or energy systems that could destabilize power structures. They established strict protocols for knowledge exchange, ensuring neither world would be harmed. And through it all, they grew closer. Morgan learned the subtle language of Kira's. Glowing spots able to read her emotions almost as well as another Zelthonian, Kira learned the nuances of human expression, the micro-expressions and tone changes that revealed true feelings. 1 year after her arrival on Earth, Kira prepared to make her promised visit home. She would travel back to Zelthos, report to her mother, and return to Earth. Morgan would accompany her. As they packed, Morgan noticed Kira seemed distracted, her spots pulsing with an unfamiliar pattern. What's wrong? She asked, touching Kira's arm gently. The princess turned to her, eyes shifting through colors. I never expected this, Morgan. When I came to Earth, I thought I would be an ambassador, learn about humans, complete my duties. But now Kira took Morgan's hands, her spots glowing with the unmistakable pattern of deep affection. Now I have found a home. I never imagined a connection I never thought possible. I am afraid of what Morgan asked, pulling her close, that I must choose between my duty to my people and my heart.